The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke. When Jesus came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, he entered the synagogue on the Sabbath, as he usually did. He stood up to read, and they handed him the book of the prophet Isaiah. Jesus then unrolled the scroll and found the place where it is written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to captives and sight to the blind, to free the oppressed and announce the Lord's year of mercy." Jesus then rolled up the scroll and gave back to the attendant and sat down, while the eyes of all in the synagogue were fixed on him. Then he said to them, "Today these words of Scripture have come true, even as you listen." The Gospel of the Lord. My dear brothers and sisters, in today's Gospel, Jesus gives the mission statement. In fact, this is a quotation from Isaiah chapter 61, verses 1 to 2, chapter 58, verse 6. There were a series of significant incidents took place before it. The baptism, the 40 days of fasting in the desert, and the temptation. Finally, he reaches to his own homeland. There he entered the synagogue and made this mission statement. Every organization, be it business, non-profit, or social or religious organization, the entrepreneur, the beginner, or the founder will have a vision for the future. What would be the organization after 15 or 20 years? And they'll have a mission statement given by the founder itself to the members of the organization. Vision is a long-term plan, and the mission is a short-term plan. Mission is an objective, how to reach the vision. We can see political parties, they give election manifesto before the election. They would promise the people, the voters, that they would do whatever possible if they are voted to power. And perhaps some of them do it, some of them may not, but they have a manifesto, they have a mission, and they have a vision too. God the Father had a vision for the salvation of the humanity. He had a vision, that is what he heard in the first reading of today. We are all chosen to be sons and daughters, and we are all chosen before the creation, and we are all kept safe from all sin. And we are chosen, and we are kept blameless too. And this is, in fact, the vision of the God the Father. And the mission is something what Jesus declared in today's Gospel. His mission was to preach the good news to the poor, proclaim release or liberty or freedom to the captives, give sight to the blind, to free the oppressed, and to announce the Lord's year of mercy. That was, in fact, the mission of Jesus, which he declared in the Gospel of today. If we got this mission, we can see first is preach the good news to the poor. We had a number of talks in our retreat. What exactly means the good news? I shall try to summarize it in one sentence. I do not know where I'll succeed it, but yet I shall try it. Good news is the upgraded form or version of the old law with a lot of new features of compassion, love and mercy, where even sinners are justified through grace. Now the question, what does St. Luke mean by the poor? Hebrew word for poor is anavim, which has different meanings: poor, meek, and the afflicted. Therefore, Luke does not mean by the word poor is economically poor only. It could be a people who are afflicted, who are suffering, and who are even oppressed and even religiously downgraded. They are the people who are marginalized. We know St. Luke's Gospel is written for the Gentiles, actually the marginalized people. Therefore, he has taken a side of the poor. Therefore, the good news that is preached, good news of salvation, is preached to the marginalized. The second mission which Jesus said is to proclaim liberation or freedom or release captives. Captives literally means the people who are caught as prisoners of war. But Jesus here means not only the people who are caught as prisoners of war, but the people who are enslaved. Enslaved in sin, enslaved by various sickness, and enslaved by social stigmas. And when this is very clear when we see Jesus performing number of miracles immediately after the mission statement. As soon as he went out, he healed the unclean spirit, a man with unclean spirit. He cured the leper. He called Levi the tax collector. And Jesus also proclaimed that he is the Lord of Sabbath, and also healed the demoniac. You will find Jesus, in fact, liberated people who were sick, who were excommunicated, who were tied down with inhuman laws, and also liberated people who were with Satan. The third mission which Jesus gave is to give sight to the blind. In fact, he healed blind, and he gave sight to them physically, those who are blind. The blind does not mean only the physically blind. It has a metaphorical meaning. The dictionary says blind gives different meanings. Those who cannot see, those who have lack of perception, those who have no awareness, those who are ignorant. All that put together, we can say all the people who live in darkness of sin or any of that sort, they are called as blind. And Jesus' mission was to set them all free and also heal the blindness The fourth mission is to set the downtrodden free or the oppressed free. Now the question is, who is downtrodden? These are the people who are bruised by life, the people who are broken and crushed spiritually and physically. These are the examples we can say: the widows, the orphans, and the socially and physically, and the politically outcast, and they are the marginalized people. And Jesus set them all free all throughout his ministry. Finally, Jesus promised a favorable year. The concept of favorable year was seen from the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 13. According to their tradition, every 50th year, it was the year of the Jubilee year. In the Jubilee year, many were given liberation. And throughout the country, of their land, liberty was given to the slaves. And they also cancelled debts of the slaves, and also restoration or possession of the original owners. These slaves were set free. And this is in fact a promise of an acceptable year, a year of deliverance to everyone who are oppressed. Now, we are all taken the mission of Christ. We are called to continue the mission of Christ. And there is a call to everyone to follow the mission. That is, we are all called to take the good news of salvation to the poor, weak, afflicted, and the marginalized. We are also called to liberate all those who are enslaved socially, politically, and spiritually. We are all called to open the eyes of the people who live in materialistic and spiritual darkness. We are also called to set free the oppressed, and also we are called to usher the era of salvation. Amen.